Hello, students. Now we are going to talk about the English Renaissance, and you can find it in your book at page 106. And this period is the period that goes from 1485 to 1603. The most important features of this time are is the political situation, okay, and the religious one, and then you've got the prose, whose the most important feature was Moore, and the name of this author, Thomas More, and the poetry, the most important person was Shakespeare, and then we are going to have a look at the drama with Shakespeare. Marlowe was really important, even he was important for the drama of this period, but we are just talking about Shakespeare when it would be the time. Let's talk about the historical context. The Tudor dynasty was really important for England, and he was a clever king who enforced law and order and encouraged commerce and was in peace with the countries near him. He supported the merchants' classes, he taxed the nobles, and he avoided the risk of civil wars. But the real important king of England in this period was Henry VIII. He was important because he broke with the Rome religion for economical, political, and personal reasons. He needed money to sustain his magnificent court, and for that reason, he wanted the Pope to annul his marriage in order to be able to marry Anna Boleyn. And with the support of his parliament, he proclaimed himself the head of the Church of England. And this one was the Act of Supremacy. The monasteries were dissolved, so the king took their lands that he sold to nobles just to have money, more money, and this dissolution of monasteries lead to vandalism in order to take precious objects and sell them, even from people. The king, Henry VIII, married 6 times, and he had 2 daughters, Mary and Elizabeth. The only son that he had died when he was still young. Elizabeth I, Henry VIII's daughter, became one of the most popular queens of England. The period of her reign was called the Golden Age. She never married, and Mary Stuart was her heir. Mary was a Catholic queen of Scotland who married the heir of the French throne. But after his death, she returned to Scotland. For some years, she was recognized Elizabeth's legitimate successor, but Mary was involved in a series of intrigues, so she escaped to England and she went to prison for 20 years and then she was executed. After the discovery of America and England, challenged the naval supremacy of Spain, they went to explore new territories in the hope to find gold. The beginning of colonization and the commercial expansion contributed to the consolidation of the maritime power of England. English ships began to visit the Baltic, Morocco, and all the African coasts. India and Japan or Persia started to trade with England. The relationship between England and Spain was alarming. They fought, but Mr. Drake defeated the Spanish Invincible Armada. The fighting with Spain, the religious problems between Anglican and the Catholic, the army was badly organized, the cost of the war with Spain had given serious problems to the financial um, of the crown, and the corruption made the country very difficult to rule. When Elizabeth I died, this was England's situation, and James I, son of Mary Stuart, became the King of England in 1603. Talking about the literary contest, the term Renaissance is a literary term, that reevaluates the classical work. Humanism was the movement which represented the desire to recover the study of Roman and Greek literature and culture, in particular the work of Cicero, Aristotle, and Plato. This way of considering literature was the humanism, and the humanist movement became more involved in religious and moral questions and produced a school of Christian humanists, which included the reforms within the Roman Catholic Church as well as the Protestants. They gave a great importance to human values and experience. And during the reign of Queen Elizabeth, the general prosperity, the nationalistic favor, and increasing literacy favored the new impulse for learning. The Queen herself spoke five languages, foreign languages, and encouraged drama and arts. So the national language, English, had become a powerful instrument of expression. Elizabethan society was based on an idea of order and stability, and that derived from medieval cosmology, and the writers and the poets were the first to feel and to explore the winds of their uncertainty that signed the transition to the modern age. In theater, we find the most vital and stimulating responses. We can see the plays of Shakespeare and Marlowe. The poetry of the early Renaissance was influenced by Petrarca, and it tended to idealism with Shakespeare. With Shakespeare, it had a note of ambiguity, and during this period, the novel developed more in the form of literary philosophy, of essay, but not like stories. The most important were Thomas More and Francis Bacon works. The English language developed in this period, even in theology and religious works. During the Golden Age period, there was a terrible cruelty in the religious persecution, in the witch hunts, and in the political plots. The drama was the main achievement of the century, and a national theatre was found thanks to the new appearance of public companies of players. At first, they were hunted because considered vagant, but they found a solution because they placed themselves under the protection of some nobleman. The drama represented the main court entertainment. In the 16th century, women did not appear on the stage because the female parts were performed by boys, young boys. And Shakespeare's company, the Lord of the Chamberlain's Men, acted in the Globe, the Theatre of London, in daylight, and there was no scenery, and all the social classes went to the theatre, okay? Here there is a kind of map that can help you to study and review these important things that we are saying about literature. Here you've got making hypotheses, and there are some pictures, okay, and not only pictures, because in here there are even some questions that I want you to answer. The first 5 questions are hypotheses about watching those pictures, and what do you think about the things that I've already said before. And here there is a matching exercise, because you have to match the pictures with all those definitions. Here is another kind of map of summary about literature and poetry, prose, and drama. Here you can see all those people that were important during this period. There is Luther, okay. This one is Henry VIII, I'm sorry, he's not Luther. And Luther is this one, and this one is Henry VIII. And you've got the different Mary Tudor, Elizabeth I, many important people. And here in the other page, he continues describing the drama, okay? And it just talks about William Shakespeare. We are not still working and talking about William Shakespeare, but you can have a look at it, reading it, okay? Then there are other moments of English literature, because here you got Francis Drake, that was a shipman, and he was really important for the English army. There was the execution of Mary Stuart, Queen of Scotland, and the defeat of the Spanish Armada, and the plague in London. The plague was really, really incredible in London, because a lot of people died. I think you have seen it in the video I sent you just yesterday. And this one is the new English king, James I, and is the one who begins the Stuart dynasty, because we had the Tudor one, but Elizabeth, with no children, left her reign in the hand of her nephew, James. Then there was the gunpowder and all those problems that we haven't talked about again. No, now we don't need to know those things at the moment. So here are some dates about the Shakespeare life, Shakespeare works. This is the construction of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, because it was constructed in 1599, and all know a part of his important playwrights like Hamlet, Macbeth, Henry V. He wrote The Tempest, The Duchess of Malfi, and this one is his death, because he died in 1616. And during this period, there was a plague in London, and that plague imposed the theatre to close. So there was a real problem for them, as we are having now, because everything is closed. Even the sonnets of Shakespeare are really, really important. In this part, you've got some exercises you will try to do, talking about the new literature. You can see them here, active review. So there are some questions you should try to answer. And exercises 3 and 4 are 2 different exercises. Number 3 is just to complete the map. And number 4 is to find out where are those sentences, those quotations. Okay, quotations means citazioni from Shakespeare books. Okay, goodbye. Thank you very much.